You're Mike Tango Whiskey did not tell you to do that. Neither did that guy. Same video, rural responder one. He says, because I talked about making friends and making community. It's so strange that people are so resistant to the idea in emergency preparedness of community, the idea of community. Community is key not only to survival, but thriving after a disaster happens. My video on this topic performed poorly.
Oh boy. Yeah, I think I'm having an epiphany here. I think he's about to say something that I did not completely expect. But also, I think that it's important that we try to understand what's really happening here.
I remember, oh, who was it recently? Was it LocalPrepper? I think it was LocalPrepper. He put out a video on building a mag, and he was bothered too that it didn't do well. Like initially his thumbnail was not that great, and I think he went back and changed his thumbnail, and then I don't know if that changed the performance of it, but the truth is that building a trusted community is difficult, hard, long-term work. Kind of what I said about the trust thing. Most people just don't want to put in the work, and I think a lot of people who say that it's not worth it or that it won't work are part of that is just them saying they're not willing to put in the work. They tried once or twice and they met some loser who betrayed them or lied to them, and they're like, see, community doesn't work.
I'm going to tell you a story. When this is over, this is only going to run for about another minute here, I think. But I'm going to tell you a story about how I start was going to start my very first mag.
It has to work. It's worked throughout all of human history. Like communities have been the thing, tribes have been the thing that have, I mean, we're wired to be social beings. It's, yeah, that idea that human communities don't work is a very recent idea, like the last 100 years, maybe less, maybe.
Yeah, and that's right up there with ever the with them trying to weaponize the term rugged individualism. It's like a false number where they flip it around.
More, but I subscribe to his channel. He says, thank you, sir. Your channel and message is great. I'm going to give him a thumbs up. Gray Wind says, nobody trusts anybody too far today. That's probably true.
Okay, so with that, before we get to my story, I've got to tell you that right now it's summertime. Summertime is there's an elevated level of opportunity for you to be involved or personally felt onto your body a major injury. Summertime, we go out, we have fun, and we do the things that we don't do during the winter. Now, in the winter, you're just going to freeze to death. In the summertime, you're going to do things that you wouldn't normally do. And if you're like a homesteader, you're out actually like chopping lots of wood for the winter, opportunity for major problem. More driving during the summer, opportunity for major problem. If you don't have the appropriate gear, you could end up dying, not a joke, just bleeding out. It's the #1 cause of death in the United States. Not guns, not anything like that, not being locked in a refrigerator, no foolish stuff, just bleeding to death. How do we get through that? We make sure we have the good equipment. And the way we do that is Refuge Medical. Refuge Medical has the best equipment. It's all made in America. It's all top of the line. There's no questions about it whatsoever. If you're interested, hit the link in the description, save a little bit of money because it's not cheap. So here's the story. The very first time I met with a group that we were working on a mag, it's ironic because I literally just told this story to the girlfriend yesterday. We were driving around town. We were just making the best use of a rainy day, and we drove past this library. And I remember it. I remember it distinctly. I had forgotten all about this. Back in the day, when the internet was still fresh and new and not so easily clickable, it was really difficult to find groups of people that were into preparedness. When you did stumble across them, you immediately tried to like latch onto them to gain knowledge, to try to create community because it's like, hey, these can be my friends. These can be the people that like I can talk to about all these things and get the answers I'm looking for and maybe make a community. So the the long and the short of it was, hey, we're going to meet on this day. We're going to do this. This is going to be a monthly meeting. And they pulled from all different places in the state of North Carolina. And so we show up, we go to this library. They've reserved I guess, a conference room because we're all sitting at like in this really tiny room that it's like a conference room table area, 15 or 20 of us. And we're all like talking, like the one guy who brought us all together. he was like, okay, so, and he's like laying out the schedule, and then he starts like, let's go around the room and introduce yourself. And it's like, okay, this is really starting to feel like business. I'm waiting for the PowerPoint to come out at this point. And we're all like, who we are, what our names are, like our first names are, because no one would even say what their real name was. It was so weird. And what we knew and what our focus was and what we can bring to the team. And so we're going around the room, we do all that. And then it's like, okay, so let's just open it up for discussion. And everybody sat there in silence. So weird. And that's when I had, and it literally, we almost talked about nothing. We kind of did we didn't do like breakaway groups, but we kind of like just, hey, let's take a break. And during the break, you would like, you were drawn to certain people about certain subjects. And the people that were like way out, they had drove from all the way in the mountains out past Charlotte, right? And they had driven like 6, 7 hours just to get there for this meeting. They'd stayed in a hotel overnight just to be part of this group, right? This forming group. And those poor people. I mean, I'd only driven like an hour, but those poor people who were bringing so much to the table got almost nothing out of it. And I attribute this to complete lack of leadership. When you say you're going to start a group, and for all of you out there in Magland, when you say you're going to start a group, you got to follow through. You've got to connect people. You can't just throw them into a box and say, figure it out. You've got to connect people. And then you've got to stay on them, almost like a shepherd. If you're in the know, you're in the know. But you've got to be like a shepherd because if you're not, your mag will fall apart. If you like what I'm doing, do me a favor, get up there. Nope, I'm sorry. Get up there and watch another video. And if you're really interested, the Patreon's over there. Patreon's over there, I think. And that's where you can find all my best stuff. And actually, a real community of preppers. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye bye.